All right. So I just also wanted to thank you so much for your time and thank you for speaking with us. I really appreciate you being a part of our documentary, especially after you just finished your whole radio show. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here and agreeing to do this with us.
Okay, no problem.
Um, so you can start. All right. So can you please start out just by stating your full name, any official titles that you possess, as well as a brief summary of kind of your role in civil rights activism in Chicago?
I am Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I'm the international chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs. I'm also the son of Chairman Fred Hampton and Akua and Jerry, who she's formerly known as Deborah Johnson. I'm a servant of the people. Um, I'm an organizer, um, a revolutionary.
All right, so I'm just going to jump into my first question for you. So, how much of an influence did your family's work in civil rights activism influence your present work in uplifting and serving Black communities in Chicago?
Well, first and foremost, I feel fortunate to have fallen from a tree of two freedom fighters. Um, in fact, I've been I've defined myself as being a Panther Cub by birth and by battle. Um, I didn't. Um, some people may say, well, you may have an issue with the police because the police assassinated your father. But my response to it is that you have never heard me say the police murdered my father. You have heard me say that the government assassinated Chairman Fred. This is not a subjective position that I take. In other words, it's not just something about me personally. It's for our people, um, and it's not, when address contradictions and issues that even transcends the city of Chicago. Uh, I'm also fortunate to be on with a politic that um, is addresses internationalism. So again, my not only my parents, but also how can I say this? The conditions also help um, form me in my thoughts.
And then, music recording. Is this music up there behind? Do you think? I mean, other than moving, but we just have this all set up. But do you think we should just roll with it? Just keep it on? Okay. All right. So I'm just going to transition into my next question. So again, just to kind of remind you from what I was talking about before, so our documentary focuses on protest motivation. So what inspires people to protest? What motivates them? We kind of analyze what gets people to really go out there and make those sacrifices and fight for issues that they believe in. And then also we kind of talk about this issue of is there such a thing as insincere protesters? Especially in the context of kind of modern protesting with the Black Lives Matter movement, where social media is a huge factor, obviously, that plays into that. We kind of explore whether social media has negative effects on protest motivation and that it may have people protesting for the wrong reasons, or maybe just for reasons of societal pressure, for peer pressure, but not really because they're naturally motivated or naturally interested in fighting for marginalized communities. So this question, in your mind, is there such a thing as a genuine or disingenuous protester? Is it possible to participate in a just protest such as the Black Lives Matter movement for the wrong reasons?
Movements are like many other dynamics, such as prisons, schools, different genres of music, are reflective or a microcosm of the community at large. In other words, such contradictions as sincere and insincere, these are realities. This is human nature. There are no absolutes. There are people that engage in hip hop for the actual love of hip hop. There are those who just come in motivated for money. There are those people that engage in various dynamics. For a myriad of reasons. Um, and the deal is that in struggle, there are no perfect allies. There's no gift wrap revolution. So the deal to recognize that it surpasses idealism to believe that everyone comes in for the same reason. That's a reality in life in general. That people, that you have opportunist forces. You have people, who crazy as it sounds. I mean, as Commandante Ernesto Che Guevara said, that no matter how preposterous it may sound, a revolutionary is guided by the most sincere sentiments of love, natural love for the people. And I dare not say that everyone who engages in struggle has a love for the people. Um, again, that's a reality.
All right, so my next question for you is what would you have the young people of today, so the young people who are out there protesting for movements such as the Black Lives Matter movement, what would you have them know about the Black Panther Party of the past versus the Black Panther Party Cubs of today?
Well, there's a quote I think about Shakespeare. Shakespeare said, "To thyself be true." Um, so I would say to people, if nothing else, be honest with themselves, uh, assess their aspirations. What they see their limitations, and the deal is welcome contested conditions. Also, many people get to find out who they are, how far they want to go through contested conditions. In other words, you take into account a time of social media. People really don't get to see what their who they are. Due to a lack of contested conditions, kind of operating from behind a computer keyboard or a bubble. So through struggle, you get to learn yourself. In fact, Minister UEP Newton said that his mother said, her preacher said, a certain amount of suffering is good for the soul. So I would encourage people to not in a reactionary way, but also with the welcome struggle, to welcome contradictions. Because again, to see yourself, how do you fit in? What's your, what dynamics, how can you best serve, and what's your actual interest? And don't draw the foregone conclusion that everyone has the same interests or aspirations. So, um, to the initial part of your question, the Black Panther Party, that's the template that we look at, the Black Panther Party Cubs. Um, our goal remain the same. We are struggling for self determination, and we utilize a philosophical tool known as dialectical materialism, which, amongst other things, other characteristics, it acknowledges nothing stays exactly the same. 2 minutes ago is history. We respect it for that. So we take, we don't negate it. However, so there are different dynamics such as social media that did not exist during the era of the Black Panther Party. In fact, I recall some not too long ago, we had to go correct some individuals who were referencing themselves as the Black Panther Party, and these individuals were younger than I am. And I said, and some were sincere, some were not sincere. And I said, do you understand such contradictions in the fact that if a photograph of you comes out with a cell phone, what I'm saying? And this takes away from the legacy of the Black Panther Party. That put in the context, this organization in Chicago alone fed a minimum of 3,500 children a week without any social media, no cell phones or nothing. So it's important to put things in context. What are you dealing with conditions? There are many things that remain the same. The core of this system is that we're dealing with, but then you have different dynamics of colonialism, neo-colonialism. In other words, there are white power disguised in black faces or brown faces. Certain people placed in certain elected positions. However, the same struggle for self-determination maintains, but there's different icing on the cake.
Mm. You touched upon this a little bit. You mentioned social media today being more prevalent in protest movements than it was in the past. So my next question actually touches upon that. What's been your experience in utilizing social media to advance the goals of the current Black Panther Party Cubs? And what are the limits, if any, to using social media to mobilize support for these movements?
Like any other dynamic, there are pros and cons. Nothing is all, as Chairman Fred will always say, nothing is all good, nothing is all bad. You know, just some of the pros, which I'm still learning. The reach, the ability to, saying, to get word out, the warp speed that you're able to get, to be able to communicate with people. There are also some setbacks. There are some cons with it. You can never devalue the importance of actual, tangible, on the ground organizing. Because reality is in struggle, in movements. The most important asset, the most important resource is the people. And if you're just dealing with, people coming in um, for passing, that dynamic of engaging with the people and going straight to social media, you know what I'm saying? It's similar to, like, you see just in everyday life, many people of the present day upcoming generation, there's an inability to even interact with people. You know, so because no social skills, because because due to the fact of social media, social engineering, where people just can. I mean, you got like in the community, you have children who see where they can engage video games like Grand Theft Auto. You can do mass murders, and then you can press restart and get right back. But that doesn't exist in real life. So, like even the organizing people, you know, saying who may can reach millions of people with the pressing of a button, but then when it comes down to actually interacting with human beings, the people in real life, they can't do it.
And then I actually just have one more question because I'm interested based off of the statements that you've been making so far. And I actually asked this question to your mother, but I kind of want to get your input as well. Do you view protesting as an effective tool in countering police brutality against Black communities, specifically Black men, in the current year, 2021?
You like you have to. It's not this simplistic as just saying protest. You have to take into account who you're talking about, what are demands, what you know. Everything is political. In fact, you know, it's kind of similar to like the contradiction of how people viewed the gun. You know what I'm saying? During the Black Power movement in the 1960s, Minister U.E.P. Newton said that we must even politicize the gun. We'll make the Black Panther Party or the people using the gun different from the police's gun. So when protesting, you know, so you have to, you know, are you talking about some reactionary forces or people, you know what I'm saying, people just, you know, venting out steam, or you talking about, you know what I'm saying, a way to mobilize the people with heightened contradictions. So you have to take into account, you know, what's the agenda, who you're talking about, what the demands, so on and so forth. So all this are important ingredients to point out. When you saying we're talking about, okay, we just talking about protesting, you know, who's doing it, how they're doing it, you know what I'm saying, and you know, and what's the demands. So that must be inclusive also, you know what I'm saying, because like, there are certain similar to like how the system they see they have no issue with certain people being armed. They have no issue with certain people protesting. Then you know, so then again, you know, saying they have no issue with certain people having resources or money. You know what I'm saying? But then and certain people they say no, this presents a problem. So all that's imperative to be included in the conversation.
All right, perfect. I think that concludes the interview. And then do you want to check the sound just one more time? Make sure we have the footage.
It's just me. It's like it's sort of tilted.
It is a little tilted, but I don't think it's really that noticeable. Like I wouldn't notice if you didn't tell me. Let me see again. No, I don't think it's that noticeable. I think that's fine.
Yeah, the audio. Yeah,
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Again, thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much,
taking the time
Sherman
to join
Fred.
us.
Thank you. Okay, right on. So we good?
Yes, we should be good. You can take the microphone off.
Okay, right on.
This one first.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again.